Hello, Becky Edwards here at Purpose Driven Motherhood. I just have a little message for you. I have been reading the broken bow story in First Nephi in the Book of Mormon, which is a scripture that we in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints use along with the Bible. And I love how this story is so good at showing the difference between how do you behave, how do you think, how do you see when you're filled with the Spirit versus when you're not, when you're filled with light versus when you have darkness. It is such a good contrast story. And I even made a list in my little journal, my little heaven journal here, of how are you inside when you're filled with the Spirit or filled with light, or when you're not, when you're out of the Spirit or filled with dark. And I'll just share a few of the things that I've noticed. So one of them is that Nephi, when he's filled with this, well, he's pretty much always filled with the Spirit. He's Nephi. He's awesome. You guys know how much I love Nephi. That you see things as they really are. You have clear vision. You can see things through God's eyes, through clarity. But when you're out of the Spirit and you're clouded over with that darkness, you have more skewed vision. And you even start to believe your own lies. like at the end of this broken bow story, Laman starts to say, you said you saw an angel and you're such a liar. And everybody who read the story is like, dude, you saw the angel too. We all know that. You can't get away from that. But he's starting to believe his own lies. That's how Satan works. The darkness really can skew our vision. Another one is when we are filled with light, we are resilient amidst trials. We see, we can keep the Spirit, we can keep positive, we have hope, we can move forward to find solutions. Like when everybody's bows were not working, and everybody else, even the ones who you wouldn't expect, everybody was like, oh, we're gonna die. Just this hopelessness. And you know what? I'm not going to judge the prophet Lehi or his wife, or because I've been really low blood sugar before. They probably went days without food, and that really does affect your thinking. So I don't judge that. But oh my goodness, Laman and Lemuel didn't need to have days without food to be complaining. They always complained, right? Pretty much always. So contrast that resilience and that I'm going to move forward with action and faith and know that God's going to provide. Contrast that with Laman and Lemuel, how they responded when the last bow broke. They were just hopeless and blaming and complaining and wish they never would have obeyed to come out into the wilderness. And here's the funny thing. Nephi's bow broke, but theirs had already lost their spring. Do you know how a bow loses their spring? It's from not unstringing it when you're not using it. So it was probably their own fault that their bows broke. Here they are just blaming Nephi again. Anyway, I mean, we could just go on and on. And I'll tell you, I'll share one more. Trust that trials have purpose and that God will help you through them, and trust that when God commands, he obeys. And you just have this confidence when you're filled with the Spirit and filled with light. You have this confidence that with God, I can do all things, that with God, I can make impossible things possible because I've got his power on my side. But when you don't have the Spirit and you have that darkness with you, you don't feel that way at all. If you don't have that confidence, there's fear, there's doubt, there's the lack of trust, there's the lack of faith, and you just want to give up. There's hopelessness, there's powerlessness. It is such a great contrast story. So here's my question for you guys. What are you doing today? And what are you doing on a regular basis, day in and day out, to fill yourself with the Spirit, to make sure you fill up with light on a regular basis? Because I'm telling you, if you don't fill up with light, the darkness just kind of creeps in. You have to actually do stuff to fill up with light on a regular basis. That's my question for you. Please type in the comments below. What do you do? What are your favorite things that you do to fill up with light? Is it scriptures? Is it prayer? Is it heaven journaling? Is it saying some declarations that are really positive to fill you up with faith and hope and confidence? Is it setting goals and moving forward? Tell me what you do to fill up with light. And I just want you to know, this story at the very beginning of the Book of Mormon is an awesome lesson in that contrast. What do we look like? How do we see? How do we act? How do we think when we're filled with the Spirit versus when we're not? And I invite you to do whatever it takes to fill yourself up with light every single day. It's worth any investment. Love you guys. Bye.